All right, what are we doing today? We're doing setups. Setups are, another word for setups is we can think about combinations, or we can think about combination punches. But I think it's important that we understand like which comes first, right? Chicken on the egg type thing, right? Combinations are used to set up and create an opening. Combinations aren't first where we just throw combinations of the opening happening. It's the idea of the combinations are to go ahead and create the opening. And the opening that we're setting up today is the liver shot, right? And so we're going to do it out of both stances. We're going to do it off the Southpaw, and we're going to do it off of the Orthodox. Somebody was in the comments the other day asking me about one of my classes where I was training people who are boxing enthusiasts. And they said, why don't you just teach them the numbers? The reason why I don't teach them the numbers, I have a full video on it on YouTube where I explain why I don't teach in numbers is, if I just tell you what numbers to throw, for example, 1, 2, 3, you're just going to throw those numbers all the time as opposed to understanding why you're throwing those numbers. So a 1, 2, 3 would be a straight left, which is a jab, a straight right, which is a cross, and then a left hook upstairs, or a 3 to the body, which is a 3 to the body. However, in the midst of this combination, when I'm trying to set up a liver shot, right, and do a quick Google search from an anatomy standpoint, we understand where the liver is, so we understand where we're trying to go ahead and land the shot. Once you get back to me, we'll go over here so you understand what we're trying to go ahead and set up. When I talk about a 1, 2, 3, the 1 and the 2 is dependent on what my opponent is doing, and the 3 is depending on where my opponent's at. So if I teach it from a left, right, left standpoint, it's understanding that this doesn't have to be a straight. It can go ahead and be a hook. This doesn't have to be a straight. It can go ahead and be a hook. Now, the shot to the body is going to be dependent on wherever the liver is located, depending on where our opponent's position is. So if we talk about what this is, right, if I go 1, 2, 3 to the body here, that's where I'm aiming that liver shot, right? Well, let's go ahead and think about left, right, left. I'm still trying to go ahead and set up that liver shot. And that's the idea of setups and combination punching. I'm trying to set something up. And same thing from the southpaw standpoint. If I'm southpaw and my right leg is forward, watch this. I'm still going to go ahead and throw a left, right, left, which from a southpaw standpoint could be a 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, or a 2, 1, 4, right? But it's still left, right, left, because the liver is still on the same side, and most of the time that you'll get to the liver is with the left hand. There's other ways to go ahead and get there, but we're just talking about this combination and setups right now. So if you notice, whether I'm in the southpaw stance to get to the liver, left, right, left. Whether I'm on the orthodox stance from this particular combination, left, right, left. So if I teach numbers, 1, 2, 3 to the body, southpaw, 2, 1, 4, right? It's not having the people that I teach understand what the overall purpose of what the combination is supposed to do. So that way now, if you are actually a fighter, you understand that you might run out of combinations because you're just throwing that 1, 2, 3 to the body every single time. And the 1 and the 2 are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is creating an opening for the 3 because your opponent knows how to block those. So they're not distracted from blocking the liver shot anymore. So that would be the reason why I don't necessarily teach in numbers, although it is a good reference point for people to understand. However, the overall purpose in this combination punching is to create an opening. So now we talk about using this heavy bag to work on that combination. There's going to be a couple ways to do it, and we're going to do it from the beginner standpoint. If you're more advanced, you're going to understand what this means because you've seen a lot more patterns and whatnot. So if you notice, when I'm in the orthodox standpoint, there's going to be 2 positions that this bag could be in, and it's going to be, the bag is going to either be over my left toe or the bag's going to be over my right toe. That means that my opponent is either over their back foot, or they're over their front foot. So this combination changes a little bit. We're going to stick to the 1, 2, 3 right now, so you guys understand now that I spoke on the umbrella statement of what we're trying to do with this. So if the opponent is on my back foot, right, on their back foot right now, over my front foot, if I throw a 1 and a 2 and they're over here, how I get to this liver may change depending on what my opponent is doing. So the liver is in the same spot. Now, if my opponent is on my back foot and I can go ahead and get to this liver through here, inside the elbow, I'm going to go ahead and take it. Now, if my opponent is on their front foot and I can get to the liver from around the elbows, I'm going to go ahead and take it. So we're going to use the bag to go ahead and set that up the same way. So if you notice, if I shoot a 1, 2, and a 3 when the opponent is over my left toe, I may not go around with that liver shot. I may go up the middle because I'm aiming for the liver. Now, if my opponent switches to another side and this bag tells me, because the bag is the core of the opponent without legs or arms, but I'm going to imagine those. So if I now go ahead and shoot this left, right, or this 1-2, and my opponent is on that side, I may now go around the elbow. And that's from the Orthodox standpoint. Now, if we think about it the same way from the Southpaw standpoint, if the opponent is over my front foot, I may use a different area to go ahead and get to this liver, which means I would go left, which is the 2. I would go right, which is the 1. And then now, if my opponent stays over there, I can go around the elbow. Now, if my opponent is now over my left toe, I may go up the middle. 2, 1, up the middle for that shot, because I'm aiming for a specific target, which in this case, which is the liver. So once again, let's go ahead and set it up from the Orthodox standpoint with the opponent moving over my right toe. So I'm going to change where I go ahead and try to shoot the shot. 1, 2, around the elbow. Opponent is now over my left toe. 1, 2, in the middle of the elbows. Southpaw standpoint, same thing. The opponent is going to go ahead and be over my right toe. So I'm going 2, 1, around the elbows. The opponent is over my left toe. So now I'm going 2, 1, to the elbows. So if you notice, there's a bunch of different ways from the Southpaw or Orthodox standpoint to set up the liver shot, because that's what the whole purpose of what we're trying to do is. So if you notice, it's still the same thing from this combination standpoint or the setup standpoint as we're talking about it. It's going to be left, right, left. Whether I'm in Southpaw, left, right, left. So now we work on building these combinations and going from there. But once again, we understand the reason why it's left, right, left is because as a Southpaw, I can go hook, I can go body, and then I can go the liver shot. From the Orthodox standpoint, I can go uppercut, hook, then go ahead and get to the body. So if we think about 1, 2, 3, we kind of get stuck in those same parameters and we just throw the shot depending on if our opponent is blocking or not. But if we think left hand, that means any left hand. If we think right hand, that means any right hand. And then now we think about shots to liver, that's going to be based on wherever our opponent is. So now that we understand what we're trying to do with this particular shot, in this setup, in this combination, which is setting up the liver shot, let's now go ahead and see how we train this on the bag. My suggestion for you is, once again, depending on what your skill level is like, we start from there. If you're new to this, let's start at a minute, because we want good intentions. We want you focused on the shot. As you progress, minute 30. 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 4 minutes. It's just going to make sure that we want our intentions to be pure so we don't go ahead and zone out. So let's now go ahead and start with setting this up. The jab is what's going to go ahead and the left hand is going to be what sets up the right hand. The right hand is going to be what sets up the left hand. So we want to start with each one. So in the beginning, we want to establish that left hand. See what information our opponent gets us. Now, based on establishing that left hand, now we can throw the right hand. See what information that gives us. Now, based on that information, it can now go ahead and set up the shot to the liver like we want. And that's from the Orthodox standpoint. Same thing from the Southpaw standpoint. We want to start with the straight left. The straight left gives us information to go ahead and shoot the lead hand. The lead hand now gives us information to set up the liver shot. So that is how we use the bag to go ahead and set up the liver shot to our opponent, and the liver shot is devastating. It gets him out of there. So now, based on that, if we think about setting up that particular shot and what we're trying to do, I like entire choreography. The setup is how you get in, what you throw while you're in, and then the exit has to be involved. That's the entire choreography. So I don't get to throw the shot and just go ahead and stay. The bag is going to tell me what exit I have because they're my opponent. So I understand how to get out. So if you notice here, If the bag is over my left toe, when I shoot this shot here, I'm even gonna place my hands according to what my opponent is doing. And if you notice, I have the opportunity with this right hand as I shoot this liver shot to either put it here or put it here. Well, if my opponent is over there, I am worried about a rear uppercut. The left hook may come, but if they're already on their back foot, it's not gonna be a big shot, it's just gonna be a setup shot. And I can go ahead and see it as well based on my position. So I'm worried about the shot that's gonna come faster and the one that's most dangerous. So if I shoot the liver shot from my opponent being on the back foot and me now being on the front foot, I may place my hand over here to go ahead and protect from the next shot that might come, might be the liver shot. But the hook, I can go ahead and see open up, so I have enough time to go and open up here. So if you notice, I'm going left, right, from here, left to the body, set up that liver, and then now based on where my opponent's at, that's my exit. So for here, I can just go ahead and step back, or I can move my head back and then go ahead and get out. Now, if my opponent is in a different position off of this left, right, left, if you notice, if they're over here, now I can be worried about that hook a little bit more than I would a rear uppercut because my opponent's in a different position now. So now it might be left, right, there with that block, so I don't go ahead and get with the left hook, and I can go ahead and use this glove to protect myself if that left hook would come. Or from here, I can pull back from the left hook. I can roll under that left hook. Those are the options for me from an orthodox standpoint. Now let's go ahead and switch to the southpaw standpoint for you southpaws. If I go left hand here and the opponent is here, and I go here, here, and then now I go ahead and shoot that shot, and my opponent is right here in front of me, I am worried about their left hand if they're on the front foot. So same thing, I'm just gonna pull in a different way from an orthodox standpoint. So I can go ahead and pull back here, I can go ahead and shoot that shot, and I can go ahead and catch their left hook if I want to. And then same thing, as I go ahead and shoot that shot here, I can roll under their left hook. Now, if my opponent is in a different position from a southpaw standpoint, there's gonna be different exits for me. So if I now go left, right, and I go up the middle here, I may be worried about a right hand based on where my opponent's at. So now I can go ahead and pull again. You guys have seen where they go ahead and turn their head to go ahead and get back out, or I can go ahead and step out all the way. But I'm worried about attacks coming from that side. So if you notice here, we worry about what we're doing when we get in, we worry about what we're doing when we're in, and we worry about how we get out, all according to the position of our opponent. The reason why I like teaching you guys on the heavy bag, I'm a coach, I'm a civilian, so even though I hold mitts for others, I don't have a lot of opportunities for somebody to hold mitts for me, especially when I'm trying to work out. For me to coordinate getting with the coach that understands what they should be doing on the mitts, that's gonna be very hard for me, and I still wanna work out, because even though I'm a civilian, I'm a boxing enthusiast, I love to go ahead and box myself. Also, so you guys understand, mitts are new. And mitts are based on the position of you according to your opponent. So if somebody's holding mitts for you and they don't understand boxing, they can put you in a bad position and teach you bad habits that when you start sparring, you start fighting, it's patterns and choreography that are not real. So let's get into some civilian bag work that you can use as a beginner to get better at boxing. As you're more advanced to this, you can use this to get better if you actually compete. If you're actually an amateur, a pro, low-level pro, high-level pro. This is some bag work that you can go ahead and use, but me as a civilian, as an enthusiast, and a coach first and foremost, who's somebody who likes to go ahead and use this bag. This is just an example of what some of the bag work would look like. I'm gonna do it in 3 phases. I'm not gonna go too long off of each one, but the first phase, we're gonna look at setting up this liver shot from the orthodox standpoint. The bag and what I tell the bag to do is gonna tell me where I'm gonna throw this liver shot and how I'm gonna exit. Second, we'll go ahead and get it to from predominantly and only a southpaw standpoint. With the same theories, the bag is gonna tell me where I'm gonna show up, set up this liver shot and how I'm gonna go and exit. And the last thing, I'll work on switch hitting, which is gonna be from the orthodox standpoint and the southpaw standpoint. Once again, I'm not gonna go too long for you, but this is just an example of what some of that bag work will look like for you. Let's go and start from the orthodox standpoint. Now let's just go ahead and show you from the southpaw standpoint as well. Now let's go and show you from a switch hitting standpoint. And that's just an example of some civilian bag work for you from a coach. Another thing, right? If you're in my comments and you know what you're talking about, or let's start first. If you're in my comments and you don't know what you're talking about, get off my page. I appreciate the engagement, but however, get off my page. If you're on my page and you're in my comments and you do know what you're talking about, I appreciate you, but more importantly, use this as inspiration to start your own page. Because obviously if you know what you're talking about, you have, and you spend the time to go ahead and comment on the internet, you can provide value to other people. So once again, if you're on my page and you don't know what you're talking about, get off my page. Appreciate the engagement though. If you're on my page and you do know what you're talking about, use this as inspiration to start your own page, because you have something of value to give other people and provide a service for them. But on the flip side of things, I have a heavy bag workout video that I'll add. However, right now, what I want you guys to understand is I have a beginner boxing, and even if you're experienced as well, this is going to be beneficial for you, a complete foundation. There's going to be 9 modules. There's a bunch of videos. There's an ebook that's involved as well. So if you want that, I'll go ahead and put the link below. If you are in the Southern California area or willing to travel, whatever state, whatever country you're in, whatever continent you're in, I have in-person training available for you. And then I also have an online program that you can go ahead and take advantage of. But the purpose of this today was to use the heavy bag to get better at landing the liver shot. If you do not have access to a heavy bag, you can do this shadow boxing as well. Boxing is a great sport because you don't need a lot of equipment for you. You don't even need gloves, but we have them. There's access to a heavy bag. And so that is how you set up the liver shot. One of the many ways to go ahead and do it from an Orthodox and Southpaw standpoint, because I know Southpaws, you guys don't get a lot of love. Ask me questions in the comments. That's what I make videos on. Even if you are just asking questions that may be disrespectful or maybe rude, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and find a way to go and add value to other people. But that is a video for you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.